Hi everyone, so welcome back to my channel, and today we'll be doing my annual yearly roundup. I know I haven't been very dedicated when it comes to the monthly favorites, but this is going to be a very comprehensive one, including both high-end and drugstore options. So for every category you'll be getting two favorites of things that I've been loving throughout the year, whether it be complexion, eyeshadow. You're gonna get an affordable and an high-end option. If you're interested to know my favorites, then just keep on watching. Okay, I'm going to start off with foundation, and my favorite drugstore foundation of the year would be the Revlon Color Stay. Looks like this. It comes in a pump version, which I believe is a later edition, but it's really handy, and now I really like using this whenever I want to go for a full coverage look, and it suits my oily skin really well. It delays the oil production and it gives you the most full coverage natural finish. You can also layer this with skincare, like you can put a drop of oil to loosen up the texture, or you can mix it in with moisturizer to alter the formulation. But I really like this because it's a very versatile foundation. For a high-end option is the Armani Power Fabric. So the Power Fabric is simply the sister to the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk, and I've been liking this year because I've been liking like a demi-matte type of foundation where it isn't too mattifying but it's semi-matte. And surprisingly enough, I don't really go for a lot of super dewy type foundations for formal occasion because I want to put the moisture or the highlights where I want them to be at. So I like a demi-matte foundation so that I can alter, like, you know, the different textures on my skin by adding highlight on. So I've been really liking this skin-like finish foundation. Okay, for cushion foundation, for the drugstore option, I've been really liking the Medicube cushion. This is the red capsule cushion in the shade 23. It's a very kind of skincare hybrid with kind of makeup formulation, but why I really like it is because of the very high concentration in its pigment. It's not your typical cushion where it looks very, you know, dewy and just almost very serum like, that it doesn't have any coverage to it. So this is how it looks like. The reason why it's so thin is because it's really saturated with a lot of foundation pigments, which gives it its coverage abilities. For my high-end option, it's gonna go to Suwasu. It's the Perfecting Intense cushion. It looks like this. Very sleek as well. It's also pretty thin a cushion, but inside you can see that it's very deeply saturated as well, so you can sense a theme. I'm going for versatile cushions with high coverage, and yeah, I've been really liking it. I mean, I've never really thought of Suwasu as something that was for young adults per se. It's more for the more matured woman, but this cushion really suits my skin really well, and I love it. I'm in the shade 23 as well. For drugstore concealer, I'm going to go with ColourPop, the No Filter Concealer. Looks like this. So you guys probably have been hearing this on and on. I typically use the shade Light Natural. I mean, I kind of find their shades a little bit odd sometimes because it leans a bit more white and leans a bit more peachy, but I honestly keep going to this every time I'm going for, like, you know, something that's really formal and I want like that super coverage ability that like cancels out all dark circles, it cancels out all blemishes. Sometimes I even use these on its own and not use foundation. The tricky thing about these is that because it's so full coverage, what you really need to focus on is blending it into the skin really well. So I find this glides best over kind of a moisturized base. If you have a little bit of sunscreen on, which has like some sort of emollients to it, then these glide on really well. These set incredibly well as well, so it's going to last a full day without kind of flaking off the skin, and these wear away like a dream. It's not gonna give you, like, you know, any exposed blemishes or exposed scarring throughout the day. It really lasts the whole day, and it's so darn affordable. For high-end option from IT Cosmetics, I have these two. I'm not sure if the Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer, the high coverage one, is available, but this is in a matte black packaging, and you can see it's like a solid balm inside. I like this because it gives not so much such a dewy complexion, but it's a bit of a mattifying one. This is the Bye Bye Under Eye Corrector. I believe it's more of a limited shade, but they did launch more shades. This one gives you more of like that, you know, tacky finish, but it also is super high coverage. I chose these two simply because if I want my under eyes to be slightly more moisturized but have that really high coverage ability, then I would use this one because it's, you know, not so mattifying and not so drying under the eyes. But if I want to spot conceal around my face without it looking too shiny, I'll go with this because it gives a little bit of a demi matte finish. So these two are really good, and they're so easy to use. You can use them on your finger, blend it into the skin, you can use them on a brush, use them on a sponge. And yeah, I mean, typically I prefer pot concealers because I can bring them everywhere and I throw them in my bag so that I can just quickly touch up if there's an exposed blemish. And these are really good for my skin. I've not broken out from them, and I think a lot of concealers in the high-end market, you know, are typically overrated, but these aren't, and they're really high coverage and all the claims are really true. For loose powder, for drugstore option is the Catrice Nude Illusion Loose Powder. Looks like this. Comes in a loose powder format. It's so affordable. It's really like as affordable as it gets in Singapore primarily, and it's a translucent powder, so you don't have to be worried about that white cast it gives. And for high-end option is the Becca Hydra Mist Powder. I think in the better half of this year I've been really gravitating towards this because it's such an interesting powder. You know, you typically associate powders with dry finishes, but this literally feels wet on the skin. But gimmicks aside, it actually works, and it isn't something that, you know, looks too dry on the skin. It doesn't deposit too much product as well. I like that it glides over the skin like a very fine veil, and it doesn't hurt that it's kind of like, you know, wet feeling on the skin, so it's very soothing as well. For brows, I definitely got you covered this year because I've been using these products honestly non-stop since January, and I don't think they've changed very much since last year, but I have a few new additions that I'm going to mention again. But I've been using these non-stop. Like, you know, for brows, when you have makeup on, you just always have to apply brows. So when I say these are good, they are really good, and you guys should definitely check them out. For brow pencil drugstore options, it's from NYX Cosmetics, and I really like the micro brow pencil, the one on the right, as well as the precision brow pencil on the left. If you guys follow me on Instagram, all my get readies honestly feature this one on the left, the precision brow pencil, because it's very interesting. You can see it comes with a flat tip, and I generally love these kind of shape bullets because it allows you to shape the brows really nicely, like the under arc, and it lets you fill in the sparse areas really well. The micro brow pencil is incredibly good dupe for Anastasia products, and it's for like a fraction of the cost. And these two come with, you know, that spoolie at the end, the brush at the end, which makes it super handy to do your brows on the go. For high-end option is from Nude Sticks. I've been using this non-stop as well. I really like it because it comes with a brow pencil on the top and a brow gel at the bottom, and the brow stylus is basically retractable. I have it in the shade black. And similarly, I really like this kind of a brow bullet shape because it gives me very good precision, and it comes with a brow gel at the end, which I honestly love, and I've been petitioning to Nude Sticks to get this as a single product because it's honestly like super glue for your brows, and it's so good. And it's a clear brow gel. From the drugstore, it's from Essence. I'm going to come up really close. It's called the Make Me Brow, and it also has fibers in the brush, so it makes it really handy for people with very thin brows or barely any brow hairs. It deposits that kind of fiber to lengthen your brows. This is really good. I like the texture because it's slightly more watery than its high-end counterpart, which is the Benefit Cosmetics Gimme Brow. I believe I mentioned this previously. For Benefit Gimme Brow, the difference is that it's a little bit thicker, so it really lengthens hair like nothing else. But I prefer a wetter texture since my brow hairs are a little bit longer, so I dabble between both sometimes. For eyeshadow palettes, which a lot of you will probably be like really excited for this category because there have been a lot of launches this year, and I must say that for affordable option I'm going to be really critical because it has to be the best pigmentation, the best blendability, and honestly it will almost be like a high-end palette despite it being of a drugstore price because it's that competitive. So I've gone with Colourpop this year, and particularly I have two palettes that I've been thoroughly enjoying. This is the Brown Sugar palette. It's the collaboration palette. It comes in, you know, Colourpop's plastic version of their palette. So it's plastic and it comes with a mirror inside. And these are the shades from the Brown Sugar palette. I honestly love brown tones, and this hit the nail on the head in every single way. I really like it. It's very blendable, really buildable. It's not buttery like Natasha Denona palettes, which I've mentioned last year, but I like this because it's so pigmented and you can achieve like honestly so many looks with this, even with single colors or using a bunch of these. Another Colourpop palette I've been really liking and I did a review on is the Zodiac palette collaboration with Kathleen Lights. It's a very interesting, a little bit tonally out of my comfort zone, but I've loved using every single color. This also comes with a mirror, but it's the kind of paper or cardboard packaging from Colourpop, and similarly same formulation, really beautiful, really silky, very blendable, and yeah, I just honestly think that these are so affordable, but it's definitely something that could rival against high-end products. For high-end option, even though I'm desperately wanting to mention Natasha Denona again, but I thought I'll change it up. You guys can take Natasha Denona as the best recommendation. All their palettes are stunning, but for at least second place would be Huda Beauty. Surprisingly, I've been like using this palette a lot, the Desert Dust palette, and yeah, I guess I featured it in a couple of my Insta Get Readies, just, you know, giving it a try, and I was pretty surprised. It has different textures and different types of shadowed pans here. So some have a foiled texture, some have a glitter texture, some are just your regular matte shadows, but the array is really interesting. It falls in the purple and red zone, and it has this very beautiful kind of taupe shade which I've been gravitating towards for weddings as well, so I really like this. Obviously, we're going to be talking about eyeshadows. I'm going to be talking about cream eyeshadows because they are my favorite, and obviously for drugstore options, going to be Colourpop Super Shock shadows. This year, I'm going to give you 5 of my favorites which I've been using non-stop. 5 colors that you should definitely pick up from Colourpop. The first one will be the Kathleen Lights color, and this is... it's just called Kathleen Lights. It's the Super Shock formulation. I'll leave the links below. Look at that reflective quality, and it's such a beautiful gold copper tone that it's almost like sunset on your eyes. And I generally use this on its own and it gives me a full look, especially for Asian lids. Next one is the shade Lala. It's a Super Shock shadow as well, and you can see it's kind of another foiled type, not as blinding as the previous one, but I really like this bronzy tone because I use it for work and it's very work appropriate, especially if I just swipe it on my lids and blend it out with my fingers. It's so easy to use. Next is the shade Blaze. I use this a lot for kind of formal occasions simply because it's that deep enough tone that looks very smoky on the eyes, but also it has these like gold reflex, so you don't have to think too much about it when you want to do like, you know, a dimensional look. You can also use this on its own. I typically use this all over the lid and I pack a little bit more glitter on top, but I really been liking this when I need a quick pick-me-up, especially for after work events. This is Desert. It's a matte formulation, I believe, or a satin formulation, so it's just that perfect brown that, you know, you can use every day, and it's best worn kind of on its own because it's such a neutral brown, and it's great for many skin types, preferably light to medium. This is the shade Shock, and I've been really liking this as well because it's such a out there kind of peachy, like I wouldn't call it neon, but it's a really bright color which looks crazy, but it's honestly super wearable. Okay, I'm going to be talking about this thing called face palettes. What are face palettes, right? It's kind of like your all-in-one, especially, you know, example, after you apply your foundation, you want to do a quick bronze, blush and highlight all sequentially, but you know, you don't want to pick different products, you just want it to be all in the same palette. So these are called face palettes, and I have a couple to mention, two from the drugstore. The first one is the Catrice Professional Face Palette. I think I mentioned it in the beginning of the year. It looks like this, a very sturdy plastic packaging. When you open it, it looks like this. On the right is the powders, on the left is sort of creams and powders as well. So you can use these as highlighters or kind of pick-me-ups in terms of under-eye highlights. And then here are blushes, bronzers and also some eyeshadows. And all these products can be used in different ways. You can use them on your eyes, on your cheek. There isn't any real rules when it comes to this palette. You can use this on the eyes, you can use it on the cheeks as well. So the quality is really great, and you know, usually for these multi palettes you need products that can sit well on the eyes as well as on the face without, you know, looking too cakey. And these are very silky formulations that are buildable and also shareable. This is the Insta Sculpt palette from Revlon, and I've been liking this lately because it's just a really simple, straightforward palette. It's all powders, and you can see this blush here. It's more like an illuminating blush, so it gives a very nice radiance to the cheeks. These tones for contour are just perfect, and yeah, you have your all-in-one, and the pen size is really sizable. For an affordable palette, this is really what you want, a big pen size and just really silky, buildable texture. For high-end option, obviously it's gonna go to Natasha Denona. I've been using the Sculpt and Glow palette non-stop. This is more like a contour and highlight palette. This row is cream, this row is powder, and I've been using it in my Insta story get readies non-stop, so I definitely had to mention it. Okay, for highlights, for drugstore option, it's gonna go to Colourpop. I really like that kind of cream highlight, but these in particular give me a very blinding, almost comparable to like really metallic kind of powdered highlights, but I love that it's sort of like a cream powder formulation, which makes it easy to blend and also dampen if you did too much. You can just, you know, go over with your foundation without it looking cakey. So from Colourpop, Super Shock Cheek. I've narrowed it down to Flextarian and Lunch Money. So Flextarian is this one on the left. It's super high shine. This one is almost like blinding metallic, so that's Flextarian. This one is Lunch Money, a little bit more subtle, a little bit more skin colored, but I've been using both either together or on its own, but it's super flattering on my skin tone, which is the NC 2025. And yeah, nothing much else to add. You just honestly have to get these two. For high-end option, it's gonna go to Nude Sticks. I've been really liking their luminous face colors. I have all three. This one is called Hey Honey, Illuminati and Brown Sugar. You can see here it's just a kind of balmy stick, and I just like it because it actually works. And on my skin today, you can see this highlight is just very glossy, you know, it's like, it's not blinding or metallic or very artificial. For blush, for drugstore option, it's gonna go to Colourpop again. Honestly, you guys, Colourpop kills it, and I know, I hope this video serves as somewhat of a introduction to my favorites from Colourpop, because it's honestly very difficult for me to choose when it comes to Colourpop because it's like such a great brand. But for blush, I really been liking Quarters, this shade called Quarters. If you look at it, you basically know why. It's like the perfect peachy, like the richer peach, and I've always been looking for a shade like this, and it sits really well when I have, like, you know, a little bit of bronzer. This complements my skin so well. Between the sheets from Colourpop, look at it. For every girl that has been asking me for that perfect kind of peach blush, this is it, you guys. Like, it's Between the Sheets by Colourpop. Just go out and get it. For high-end options, gonna go to Nude Sticks yet again. It's their nudies all over face color, but it's the matte version. So they do have these products in bronzers as well, which I also do recommend. But for blush, One is called Bareback. The one on the left here is called Bareback. The other one is called In the Nude. And these are really pigmented kind of cream formulations, so they don't sit matte on the cheeks, but these are the most natural blushes you will ever find, and a very pure formulation of cream. It's not going to be like a cream powder or whatever, it's just a straight cream, which makes these really good multi-purpose products. You can use them on the lips as well. Alright, last but not least, lips from the drugstore. I'm going to be talking about lipstick formulations, and my favorite drugstore lipstick of the year would go to Revlon, and I've been really liking these. These are the Revlon HD gel colors, and they are just so beautiful. If you guys watched my last year favorites, I basically love this kind of texture when it comes to lip products, because it's like balmy, it's like a lip gloss, it's like a lipstick all together, and it gives your lips like a very nourished feeling. And when the shade selection is this good, when it comes to the nude shades, like these nude shades are like perfect everyday colors. Unfortunately for lipsticks, I'm not going to give you a high-end option, because I honestly been liking everything that's affordable when it comes to lips. So for your classic lipstick option, I'm going to recommend Colourpop Luxe lipsticks as my all-year favorites, and I have 5 shades to recommend. 27, which is like just such a beautiful burgundy red. This one's called Layover, so it's my perfect nudie lip. This is called Cinnamon. It's from the Brown Sugar collection. It's honestly, I've been using this as an alternative to reds when it comes to like a fancy party or something like that, because I feel like surprisingly brown looks good on me, so I've been loving this. This shade is called Third Eye. It's just a perfect peachy kind of shade without leaning too pink. And this is Scorpio Moon. Look at it, it's a beautiful grape nude. Last but definitely not least is liquid lipsticks, and I only have one brand and one brand alone to recommend, and drum roll please, it's from NYX. And you guys are honestly, some people are either going to be mad, or some people are either going to be like, are you serious, NYX? But yeah, I've been liking them, and these are the 2 variations. This is the Powder Puff Lippies. It's kind of like the soft matte, just that this gives you a more marshmallow effect when it comes to the applicator, which is a cushion tip, and this is the soft matte lip creams, which are cult classics and honestly so affordable, and they have extended their range repeatedly, so you never have the excuse that you can't find your perfect color. The applicator is like this, so you can see it comes with a cushion tip, so it's really easy to apply these products. Give you a very soft blurred out lip effect, so it's perfect for like ombre lips or marshmallow lip effect. The soft matte lip creams, I find the formulation to be just slightly more nourishing, but also is super comfortable on the lips. You can see it's like a very standard applicator, very simple packaging, but the product inside is just a very comfortable type of liquid lipstick that doesn't dry out your lips, and it doesn't look like incredibly matte, but it is the most beautiful suede-like finish. It's a suede velvet kind of finish that you can see on your lips from afar, and it kind of looks really intense like a typical liquid lipstick would, but it's just so velvety on the lips, so it just honestly feels like luxury quality. That pretty much sums up my favorites for 2018, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, like I missed out mascara and eyeliner because this is a long video, I'll leave it in the description box, but those have been a standard favorite for me. Yeah, I honestly don't know whether you guys want me to continue with monthly favorites next year, but if you do, give this a thumbs up and also comment below. But yeah, without further rambling, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!